Hey y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel, and welcome to another thriller reading vlog. In this reading vlog though, we are going to be reading Lisa Jewell. Jen and I both got arcs of It Could Have Been Her, so we're both super excited to jump into this and read that book. We are both going to be reading that book, but we are both also picking another book that's not the same to read. So you guys are getting a total of 3 Lisa Jewell books vlogged in this video. For my first book that I'm going to start today, right now, I have 2 books on my physical TBR that I have thrifted by Lisa Jewell. So I have Then She Was Gone and The Family Upstairs. Now, I know Jen had said she wants to read The Family Upstairs. I think she also has this copy of this book. So I am going to be reading Then She Was Gone because I have it. It's right here. I have a physical copy. I need to read down my physical TBR and try to pare down some books that I want to keep for my library. So, you know, this is perfect. This is perfect time for me to start this book. And I am going to read you the description on the back so you know a little bit about what this book is about. Also, so I know, because I have no idea. I have no idea what this book's about. So let's figure this out together. No one ever just disappears. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughters. His youngest, Poppy, takes Laurel's breath away because the eerily precocious Poppy is the spitting image of Ellie, and now the unanswered questions she's tried so hard to put to rest begin haunting Laurel anew. Where did Ellie go? Did she run away from home, as the police have long suspected, or did something more sinister happen? So, typical kind of missing child thriller, and I'm really curious about this. Like, this seems intriguing. I'm mostly curious about this, like, charming man that shows up. Like, charming men just don't pop up. You don't just luckily happen to find a charming man just pop up out of nowhere in these books. There's typically a reason he's there. It's typically not random by chance. He's there on purpose with a mission. So that's got me intrigued. Okay, so I'm just gonna start this right now, and I will catch up with you all when I have something to say once I get into the book. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's Jen, and welcome to our Lisa Jewell vlog. We are reading the newest Lisa Jewell, It Had to Be Her, and that comes out in June, I think, and I should have looked up the date before I started recording, but I'll put it on the screen along with a cover. I am going to be reading that, actually both of us are going to be reading that with electronic arcs. Both of us got and are very excited about. We are also both reading a previous Lisa Jewell. I had several to choose from, and I decided to read The Family Upstairs. I have wanted to read that for a long time. It was probably the first Lisa Jewell book that caught my eye and I wanted to read, but I didn't get to it. And I ended up reading None of This Is True back in 2022, I think it was, because I was stuck at home with COVID, and I ended up reading it and loving it, and had read another book from her, Don't Let Him In. I can't remember if I read another one other than that. I should have looked that up too before I started recording. But I'm going to start The Family Upstairs and let you guys know some thoughts after I read some. So see you soon.
I just got to part 2, which isn't actually very far in the book. It's page 45. And I'm very intrigued. So the way this book is set up, you have a current timeline, which you're following the mom, whose name is Laurel. And she starts off chapter 1. And the story starts off that she is in her oldest daughter's flat, and she's helping to clean it. And just, you're kind of following her life in the now timeline. And then you have a then timeline, which is the point of view of the daughter who's missing. So this was back when she was a kid, right before she went missing. And I am very interested so far. This is very intriguing. I don't have any theories, or when I read thriller books, sometimes the theories and like what I think is going to happen just comes naturally. and I don't force it or try to actively think about it. It just happens. So some books I will come up with ideas and what I think is going to happen and have my theories. And some books that just doesn't happen. And I'm just along for the ride reading to find out what happens. So far, I don't have any theories about what's going on or what could have happened to the daughter that's missing. So, we will see. And there is a plot twist at the very end of part 1, but right before you get into part 2. I'm not going to spoil that for you. It's kind of minor, so I don't know if it would technically be a spoiler, but it is a little bit shocking. You do get an answer, and you don't necessarily see it coming, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I am excited to keep going and jump on into part 2 and see what part 2 holds for me.
I have an update for the family upstairs. Right now, you're just getting a couple different perspectives. I think there's 3 total. There is Henry, there's Lucy, and Libby. And Libby has been the one who got the invitation, or it's not an invitation, but it's to let her know about the inheritance for the house. You're just really getting information right now, and it jumps around in time. I don't know how the characters are connected at this point, and I feel like it's going slow again in terms of pace, which has been, I think, each of the books I've read by Lisa Jewell. I don't mind it, but sometimes it can be tedious because you get used to fast-paced thrillers, and sometimes it can just feel like, I hope this is worth it. So that's where I am right now. I don't know what's going to happen because I'm just getting the information, but I have a lot of errands to run tomorrow, so I'm going to do audio as well as physical book. I don't always like to do that, but I'm in between audiobooks right now, and I figure I can get through this one quicker, especially since it's a slower paced book. Sometimes that can help when it's slower paced. I will let you guys know an update, and I think tomorrow night or later tomorrow after I'm doing errands, we might be going to Jungle Gems, and I might record. It's not always easy to record there because it can be really busy, and I don't like, it always makes me feel weird recording in public. So we'll see what the situation is, and I might be able to get some video to show you guys Jungle Gems. It's something unique to Cincinnati. There's 2 in Cincinnati, and it's a huge international grocer and has all kinds of cool stuff. We love getting produce there because they have produce from everywhere. It's just things you can't find anywhere else, but it's just a really cool place to grab groceries, and we do it like, I don't know, once every couple months. So I will try and show you guys that tomorrow, and I will give you an update whenever I have more to talk about.
All right, y'all, so I have moved outside because the weather is so nice. I'm currently on chapter 18, so I'm still in part 2, and I think this is page 85. This is gonna be page 85. So we have met this mysterious, charming man that Laurel meets just randomly in a cafe. And it's just kind of been talking about the progression of their relationship. She has met Poppy, which is his child. That reminds her of her daughter that went missing all those years ago. And to be honest, I think I just need a break. I'm getting kind of bored. I'm getting kind of bored with where this is going. And I looked ahead just a tiny bit to see like where the next part is coming. And part 3 isn't until all the way back in chapter 27, which is page like 165. So I still have a ways to go till I get to part 3. I was going to try to tough it out and get all the way to part 3, but I think I need to take a break. So I'm going to put the book down for now, and then I'll check back in when I get some more of it read to give you some updates.
All right, guys, update. We did not go to Jungle Gems. And yes, I do have new glasses on. We ended up not going. I believe it was because there were so many thunderstorms that day, and we kept putting off going, and then it ended up being too late. And I don't know if anyone is from the Ohio area, but 75 is not my favorite to drive on. So I did not want to be driving during storms or especially late at night. So we ended up not going. I don't know when we're going to get a chance to go, but I do have an update on the family upstairs. And the update for that is I finished it, and I should have stopped, but I ended up finishing it when I switched to audio. And I have been having drive time again for work. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like, I think you're meant to have this reaction, but I feel like I got very much an ick feeling, especially for one of the characters. And I can't say because I feel like it's gonna give away some of the plot if I say who. But I was not a fan of the ending. And it might be that that was the intent, because I know that's the kind of book she is aiming to write, is that it's thrillers and, you know, creepy characters, I guess you could call them. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this one. Of the Lisa Jewell that I have read, it would be at the bottom. And I didn't expect that. I'm going to think about it some more though. And I will, at final thoughts, I will talk about it more, because sometimes with books, they kind of permeate and they sit in my head and I have more thoughts after a while. I'm going to start the new Lisa Jewell, and I will, after I start it, I will give you guys some thoughts on it.
Part 2 of this book I felt was very boring. I don't feel like the story progressed very much. You're just sort of following along this relationship that's developing between Laurel and this man that she met in a coffee shop. And it's just kind of, they go on a date, she goes over to his house, she meets his daughter, that kind of thing. It's not really, there's not really a lot of twists, there's not really a lot of things going on. But starting in part 3, you start getting the POV of a new person. It's in first person, so it feels kind of like you are in this person's mind. You're like reading maybe like a diary entry or something. They're like explaining what's going on in their head. And that was the turn of the book for me. That was what really picked this book up. Part 3, page 165 is where this book started to turn around. It started to get more interesting. It started to draw me back in. And maybe the last 30 to 40% of this book, I couldn't put it down. And I can't explain it because there's no like shocking twist. It wasn't like grippy, like you're reading a thriller that you just are shocked and shocked and shocked and have to keep going. It's more like, you know what's gonna happen, you can see things unfolding, but you have to see it through. You can't take your eyes away from it. So I actually really enjoyed the last 30, like I said, 30-20% of this book. So I'm reading this book 3 stars on Goodreads. Really, it's maybe more like 3.5. I don't feel like it was 4. I feel like 3, maybe 3.5 was good, because like I said, the beginning of the book and part 2 of the book really drug it down for me to the point where I was thinking I might have to DNF, but I didn't. And I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't this time, because I did enjoy the last half of the book and it did redeem itself a little bit. So I think maybe for Lisa Jewell, I just need to maybe adjust my expectations. For some reason, I go into these books expecting them to read like a grippy, fast-paced, can't like stop cliffhanger on the end of every chapter type thriller. I think maybe I just need to readjust my expectations a little bit of Lisa Jewell, because the books are nice, they are good. They're just, it wasn't what I was expecting. So there's the end of that book and my opinions on that one. Now I am going to start It Could Have Been Her, and I'm just gonna show y'all. I need to pull up the arc real quick. So when I got access to the arc and downloaded it, they didn't have a cover yet, so my ARC does not have a cover. Since then, the cover has been released, and I will pop it up here so you guys can see it. It's actually a very pretty cover. I do think it's kind of striking. So I am going to be starting this book in a little bit. I can't start it right now because I have some planters that I bought and need to put plants in for my front porch. I did make this planter back here. I'll show you guys. So I just bought this from Sam's Club, and then I bought the plants and put this planter together myself. And I did, there is one, I don't know if I can show you, hold on, back there, I don't know if you can see it over in that corner. So I did do those planters for the back deck, but I liked them and I got 2 more to do for my front porch. So I am going to work on putting those together. I will show you guys what those look like in a little bit when I get them done. And let me know what you think, or if you have any like suggestions or recommendations. I'm really open to a little bit of criticism because I don't know much about plants at all. I just know like, oh, those look good together, and I check to see like, do they need direct light or indirect light based on where I want to put them. That's pretty much it. So I don't really know what I'm doing.
Hey, update on the new Lisa Jewell, which is It Could Have Been Her. I only got through, I think it's 3 chapters on my tablet, reading it electronic ARC, and I feel like it's already weird. And the other thing is, I feel like she has a certain way she's setting up her books. I don't know if all her books are like this, but I am noticing that she writes from all the different characters. So she does multiple points of view, but she also goes back in time. And I got a flashback to last year's Don't Let Him In, because you already have this male character that you're seeing from 10 years ago. And it felt exactly like it did when I was reading that one. And it did make me worry for Amanda. So I'm only a few chapters in, and you're just gathering information. You don't know much. I basically know the same that I knew about this book, which is that there is a missing dog and trying to track down who owns this dog. And I haven't gotten to the missing girl yet. So I will check in with you guys and let you know more thoughts as I get deeper into It Could Have Been Her. I am about 100 pages into Lisa Jewell's It Could Have Been Her. And I know I said this in my last recording, but definitely reminding me of Don't Let Him In. And it keeps making me feel like Amanda's probably not going to be a fan, unless she's in the mood to read it. I mean, there is a possibility that she is in the mood to read it. But it is going back and forth in time. You're getting pieces of information, a couple of surprising pieces of information. I don't know what I feel right now in terms of what I think is going to happen. I have just been enjoying finding out pieces of information because I am enjoying reading this one. Definitely more than The Family Upstairs. I feel invested to know what happened. And it is a creepy scenario about what may have happened at this house, because the main character, she is remembering years ago that she had escaped from this house and this guy. We don't know what he was up to, and the implication could be something nefarious. She thinks it may have been a potential threesome with he and his wife, but I don't know. Some of the pieces aren't fitting right now, and hopefully they'll fit at the end. And she does tend to like to get creepy. I have a feeling it's going to get very creepy. I will give you guys an update as I get further into It Could Have Been Her. I'm just realizing that the title might be indicating that the main, and I'm forgetting her name at the top of my head right now, but it's probably because the main character that you keep seeing from, who found the dog and now investigating to see what happened to the missing girl, that they're indicating it could have been her who would have been the missing girl or whatever happened all those years ago, but it's just a guess. I will see you guys after I read more. Wanted to update you guys on the Lisa Jewell book, but it was also a micro blue moon tonight, and I didn't know how it would look on camera because I just took it with my cell phone. but here's some pictures of it. These are the times that I wish I did have a telescope or a much better camera. So anyway, back to the book. I've now realized through all of her books that she basically has the same setup, which is going back in time, getting little bit of information from characters you don't really know how they fit into the full story yet. And if you're reading anything else or listening to anything else, because I am listening to an audiobook right now, I feel like it made it much more confusing. Like you have to, at least for me, have to fully focus on her book, because as I go back in and reacclimate myself, I feel like I'm forgetting parts. So I have to just read her book in order to really understand what's going on. I'm at the part where Jane is still really trying to figure out what happened to the girl, and you pretty much know, or you're being led to think it is one character. And I'm not sure if that's a red herring right now, or if you're going to have some huge twist or something, make everything seem different. But I'm about halfway through, and I will let you guys know some more thoughts as I go along, but I'm enjoying it. I really want to know what's going on, and it is really creepy. Like the one guy that you keep seeing from like 9 and 10 years ago, his name is Stuart. He seems, I don't know, I feel like he's really creepy, but you don't really know the full picture. And then Jessamyn's, I think that's her name, parents are just really strange. But I am going to read some more and I'll let you guys know my thoughts. I wanted to give an update. I only have about 100 pages left, but I was just thinking of a couple things with this newest Lisa Jewell. I think why I'm enjoying this one more, because it is the same format. I don't feel like it's doing anything different with how she sets up her books, and is definitely slower, or I mean as slow paced as her other books. And I think a lot of thrillers I tend to enjoy when it's faster, but I did love 2 of her books and they were slower paced. But this one in particular, I think I'm loving more because of the detective piece. So the main character, Jane, that you end up seeing in present day, and she's the one who ends up finding the dog and running into this like mystery of a girl who's missing. Feel like she is playing detective, like almost like a Nancy Drew, and I love that type of thing. I think I want to be a detective in real life. There's just something about it. I like the solving of a mystery and solving of a crime, that there's just something about it that I really love. So I think that I'm attracted to that piece of the story. But where I just ended up is she's still trying to find out where this missing girl is, and she's kind of connecting the dots. And she just went to see if she could find one of the family members, and the way it ended was that they said this person just disappeared. And I don't know, it drew me in even more, because I'm like, what is happening? I feel like Jane is connected even more than you realize or you're being told, even though part of it is you find out towards the beginning she had been at that house where she ends up taking the dog, and that's where all of these weird family members have lived. I feel like there's even a deeper connection. I don't know yet, but I'm headed to my doctor's appointment, and my doctor is very close to Trader Joe's and 2nd and Charles. I do have grocery pickup and I have other things I need to do, but I was planning on stopping at 2nd and Charles just to take a peek at things there, and I can take you along and show you what's new at 2nd and Charles. So I will see you shortly there. And then I have about 100 pages left, I think. So if I don't have something crazy I want to react to at the end of this, I'll probably see you at final thoughts after that, but we'll see. It might get crazy and I'll be back. Who knows? managed to get out of Second and Charles without buying anything. There were a couple books that I thought briefly I was going to buy, one of which you guys saw, the sequel to Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I'm pretty sure it was 50% off because it looked like their bestsellers were 50% off. But I didn't really even like the first one. It's just sometimes when there are pretty books in a store, I get influenced by that. I don't know if anyone out there has that problem. I decided, no, I don't need that book. And then in the clearance area, there was a Catherine Stedman book that I'm pretty sure I own. So I didn't want to purchase that if I had it already. And I definitely don't need, as you guys can see, I don't need more books. So, and this isn't even all of my books. These are just the ones that I have out on the shelving I have available. I did escape from Second and Charles without purchasing anything, and I think that was a pretty decent achievement since I don't need anything right now. I just wanted to say a quick PSA for this new Lisa Jewell that if you have any kind of fear of clowns, it's just a trigger warning, and that's all I'm gonna say. I don't have a fear of clowns. It actually makes me laugh because I am a fan of Supernatural, and Sam in that series has a fear of clowns, so
If it bleeds, you can kill it.
I'm gonna keep reading. I don't know if I will react again. I might not see you until final thoughts. Just wanted to come on here for a quick PSA.
Give me a break. You didn't think I remembered, did you?
I have finished It Could Have Been Her, and I know, I know I haven't been very good at filming updates for this book, but I was sitting here thinking about this book, and I don't know what to say. Like, I have such conflicting and mixed emotions about this book. And I think that I did not do as many updates because this book, okay, so first of all, I just want to say the book was good. Okay, I enjoyed the book. It was good. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the story that was unfolding, and it was dark, and it was gripping. Like, I was invested in the story. I wanted to know what was happening. I wanted to see it to the end. But there were no, for me, in my opinion, there were no real, like, big twist or oh my gosh moments. So I never felt like the need to pick up the camera and talk about the book. I hope that makes sense. It was just kind of like I was just unfolding a story very slowly and reading the book, and everything that happens, you get very well set up for when it happens. You already know that's what's going on. So it's not, there's nothing like hidden and then you're just shocked at some revelation, or there's nothing that like completely flips the story on its edge and just something that you didn't see coming happens. It just slowly unfolds, and it's, I would say predictable, but not predictable in the sense of it's supposed to be twisty and you can predict what happens easily. It's not supposed to be twisty. I felt like this story, it's very, it's, I would say, actually kind of slow paced. It did keep my attention, but the story, just like I've mentioned, just slowly unravels and you're just kind of reading along. And I did really, really enjoy the story. I really enjoyed the way it tied together. I was really satisfied with what happens with all the characters at the end. My problem with the story, and it's the same problem I had with Don't Let Him In, is the way the story is structured. I actually had to take notes about the characters. Like, I just got this piece of paper and flipped it in half, and there are technically 3 different timelines that you follow in this book, but there are 2 main timelines you switch back and forth between. And I don't think on the chapters either. Actually, it might have said 10 years earlier, 9 years earlier, 7 years earlier. So you do get like, when you start the chapters, you do kind of understand, or when you start the sections, you kind of understand where you're at in the timeline. It's told to you. But the problem is is the way that she structures it. I think like, it's not that I don't like her writing. I do like the writing, but I don't like the way that her books are structured, because and I do think it is done on purpose, because it helps create an atmosphere where you can like make twists, like this person is really this person kind of thing from the past, and you can create kind of twist. But I have a really hard time understanding how all the characters fit, and how keeping all the timeline straight. For whatever reason it is with her books. I had the same problem with Don't Let Him In, and that's why I DNF'd that book in a vlog that we did last year, or even the year before last. I can't remember if we did it in 2024 or 2025, but I ended up DNFing one of her books in a vlog, and it's because it was too cumbersome for me to try to keep track of everything. And in this book, it's essentially a family, and you're following the parents, which is the oldest timeline. Then you're following the daughter of the parents when she's a child, and then you're following the daughter of the parents when she's a little bit older, and then you're following the daughter of the parents when the parents are so old and the dad's actually gone and the mom is really, really old. So you're getting 3 different, I would say, decades at least of timeline. And it was just, the way it's set up, it's confusing. And then you also have Jane, and she has her own like storyline and her own personal things that she's dealing with and going through, but she's trying to solve this mystery around a missing girl. She happens to find a dog that's lost, and when she returns the dog to the owner, she finds some suspicious things, and she finds out that the dog was seen with a girl that is missing. So she decides to kind of do her own little investigation into why this girl is missing, and you uncover all of these really old family secrets. That's the best way I can describe this book. And like I said, I really liked the story. I like her writing. I just have issue with the way the book is structured. So I'm really torn, because the story, the title of the story, how it fits in with the story, the atmosphere, the characters. I loved all of that stuff about this book. But when I have to like literally take notes on who the characters are, their name, who they are, what timeline they're in, it's too much. I don't know. I can't necessarily wrap my brain around her books so that I can just relax and easily read them. So I hope that makes sense. I guess I'm just going to settle on 3 stars, because I feel like although some aspects of the book were like 4 and 5-star territory, I really didn't enjoy the whole reading experience. If you like dark thrillers, and I would say this is sort of more the lines of a dark police type thriller, detective type thriller, I do think you will like this story and what unfolds in it. And if you do like Lisa Jewell's books in general, because it seems to me that I've read 3 books by her now, and they're all kind of set up the same. It seems to me that she likes to structure her stories that way. And if you like that, then you're really going to like this book. I would say of all 3 of the books that I've read by Lisa Jewell, this one is my favorite.
All right, guys, I have finished It Could Have Been Her, and I'm here for final thoughts. There wasn't really anything I felt that was like a jump scare or shocking thing that I wanted to record at the end of it. I did like It Could Have Been Her more than The Family Upstairs, but both of these I was disappointed in. And I did like the previous Lisa Jewell that I've read more than these 2. I was very surprised by that. I thought for sure I would enjoy this one. I have wanted to read this one for a while. And It Could Have Been Her, since I had read this one first, It Could Have Been Her, I kind of was almost like on the defensive, knowing that it could be disappointing. And then my hopes were raised because I was pulled into that story. And I know I did a recording where I think what pulled me in is that detective piece, because I'm forgetting her name now. But the main character, one of the main characters, the main character in the present, she's the one who finds the dog and realizes a girl's missing and starts digging in to see what's going on. And I think that is just something that I like. And I think that's what pulled me in. Why I was disappointed, and I don't know how much it's different from the first two. Sometimes it is because of my mood, because I am a mood reader. I feel like with Lisa Jewell's books, it is a slow pace. It is very dark. The themes around what you're reading and what you find out, especially in It Could Have Been Her, it's not pleasant situations that you're finding out about. It is very like depressing subjects and depressing characters. And it's almost like you don't want to believe characters like that exist in the world. So it's hard to read those kind of scenarios because she writes them, I feel, so real. So I do feel like she is a good writer, but the subject of it is like pulling you down. At least it was for me. And I think that's also evidence of a good writer because it's influencing you so much. I also didn't really like the story. I felt like the pace on both of them were like too slow. I didn't feel that way for the first two Lisa Jewell. I thought it was just like well paced. I didn't think it was fast paced. I just thought, she slowly got us the story, and I think I remember it more for the one from last year, Don't Let Him In, because Amanda wasn't enjoying it. And I have to say, I have a feeling Amanda did not enjoy either of these because it feels like it leans kind of horror, but I would say more fiction than anything else because of how it reads. I don't know. I do think that Lisa Jewell writes really well, and if you enjoy something that is slow paced with a real gritty, dark character base and some really crazy scenarios, and it's hard to say without ruining the plot or what happens in the book to say what I mean by that, but it's definitely true crime oriented, I would say. If you like true crime, It Could Have Been Her, definitely I liked better of the two, and I felt like it's digging up these clues and finding out what happened, and when you find out what happened, it is pretty gritty. That's all I'm gonna say without saying anything that could ruin a book for somebody. Thanks for watching, coming along with us as we read two Lisa Jewell books. I do think I will still read Lisa Jewell in the future if she has a new one or some of her backlist. I do think it won't be for a while. I might wait till I'm in her mood for more of a, slower pace, dark, true crime type story. I definitely need a palate cleanser and something light and romance after this. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time.